Hello, viewers. This is your host, Ricky Klein, the Cassette Master, coming at you from the standard SR-F21T reel-to-reel tape recorder. This recorder is known as the Tiny Pal. It's a very adorable little cute tape recorder. I really like it very much. This little AC bias contraption runs only at 1 7/8 inches per second and uses 2-inch reels, or maybe more like around 2.5 or so. These reels are 62 millimeters in length, or in diameter, excuse me. And I guess if we were to go on the interwebs and we take that 62 millimeters, we take millimeters to inches, and we put 62 millimeters, it's 2.44 inches, so about 2.5 inch reels is the maximum size you can use on the standard Tiny Pal reel-to-reel tape recorder. Now normally this tape recorder just has a hardwired microphone that you can take out of a little holding chamber, a hardwired dynamic mic, but obviously I want to use other microphones and other sources, so I have installed, yes I know I drilled into this thing, an external microphone jack on the back of this recorder so that I can use other microphones. So right now I'm using a Shure SM57 professional grade mic put through a Symmetrix 528E voice processor courtesy of Speaker Freak 95 on YouTube, and to get a bit better, more professional sound with this recorder, although this recording quality of this is not very good and tends to have some distortion in the S. I'm trying to de-S the sound the best I can to make it sound a little bit less S-y. Because as you'll hear, when I use the Sony F96 microphone later in this video, you'll be hearing a lot of sibilance sound. That sounds very much like DC bias, but I assure you this is an AC bias recorder. It's probably due to pre-emphasis during recording because of the 1 7/8 speed. It's pre-emphasizing the treble frequencies a lot. Although it does sound a little bit better with the hardwired microphone, because the hardwired microphone's treble is not as strong as a Sony F96 dynamic, and therefore has a little bit less sibilance issues. I hope you enjoy the video of this standard Tiny Pal, and I apologize for the lengthy chin wagging of this particular recording.
So as you can see on this recorder, we got a microphone up here. It looks like it would be a built-in microphone, kind of like on a lot of cassette recorders, but it's the external hardwired mic. It could kind of be used as an internal mic, but it picks up a lot of motor noise. You get your cord out of this little storage area, and then you can have your cord come out the side, that little slot. And you can see this red felt in here. Originally this recorder had foam, kind of a brown colored foam, but the foam had, with age, the foam was kind of rotting away, and it was sticky and leaving residue all over the mic, and it got on your fingers, and it's all sticky and stuff. So I just try to dig that foam off of there and hot glued this red felt in place, and it works just fine with the red felt. I don't know why they didn't opt for felt to begin with, because that lasts longer than foam anyway, at least the kind of foam they used, and felt works just fine. But anywho, whatever. So we'll make a recording on this with the little hardwired mic. So hello. Yeah, recording meter is fluctuating. Hello. I think we got an issue. It's this record play switch. I need to clean it. I have to sometimes jiggle that knob on the record play switch to get a good connection. This is a manual level control recorder. Meter's fluctuating to the sound. I don't know how well you can see that in the video, but the meter's fluctuating to the sound. This is recording with the external microphone that is hardwired. The hardwired microphone. This is a hardwired microphone recording. Let's see how that sounds with the hardwired microphone of the standard SR-F21T reel-to-reel tape recorder. Now, we're going to be comparing that to the Sony F96. The Sony F96, one of those microphones I use religiously. I use this microphone all the time. It's one of my favorite go-to microphones for recorders. I know Jordan's going to be screaming at me because it's unbalanced, but most of my recorders, being consumer equipment, are unbalanced. So when it comes to that, I tend to use this microphone a lot. And it's a good quality mic. Metal case, too. The Sony F96 low impedance. I think it's about 150 ohms or thereabouts, maybe 200 or so. And it's a good mic. But as you'll hear in the recording, the treble is going to be distorted. So I'll make another recording that's overdriven. I'm going to turn that level down a little bit there. This is the Sony F96 microphone. The Sony F96 microphone is being used to record on the standard.
Hello. Yeah, recording meter is fluctuating. Hello. This record play switch, I need to clean it. I have to sometimes jiggle that knob on the record play switch to get a good connection. This is a manual level control recorder. Meter is fluctuating to the sound. I don't know how well you can see that in the video, but the meter is fluctuating to the sound. This is recording with the external microphone that is hardwired. The hardwired microphone. This is a hardwired microphone recording. Let's see how that sounds with the hardwired microphone of the standard SR-F21T reel-to-reel tape recorder. So I make another recording that's overdriven. I'm going to turn that level down a little bit there. This is the Sony F96 microphone. The Sony F96 microphone is being used to record on the standard Tiny Power reel-to-reel tape recorder. Turned off the camera, of course. This is just to see if we can compare the original standard hardwired microphone quality to the quality of the Sony F96. And normally the Sony F96 would be better quality, but because of this recorder's tendency to distort the S's, it is actually going to sound worse with this mic because the pre-emphasis is so high. But again, I assure you this is AC bias. I have seen the bias oscillator coil and associated components with my own two eyes. I guarantee you this is AC bias, even though it sounds DC bias with this mic.
So,
driven to turn that level down.
remove the reels so you can see what it looks like without them on there. The drive mechanism, simple. You'll see this idler. That is rubber on the motor shaft. In rewind, the motor is just moved over to the supply reel. And in playback, the motor's in position against the flywheel and turns the flywheel just by the motor shaft's idler touching the flywheel. The take-up drive is through one of those white-colored natural rubber belts that Standard loves to use, which last the test of time, and is actually driven off the motion of the pinch roller itself, not the capstan, which is rather funny. That's simply because the direction. If they ran it off the capstan would be turning the wrong way, and the take-up reel would turn the wrong way, so that's why they're running it off the pinch roller's motion instead. Very simple. No ifs, ands, or buts. Just simple, simple, simple.
Roll like a big
find it's the only way. We may get stupid and we may get lame, but we never let that get in our way. Roll like a big dog and la la la, and so should you. We know full well what our critics meant, but they don't know how a good day spent. Roll like a big dog and la la la.
Now let's take a quick simple look at the inside. First, notice the standard nameplate on the top is gone. So, it's one screw. Literally one screw. If you want to change the batteries, you essentially have to take the recorder apart. Because you see all the inside. You take the cover off the recorder. Just like that. You'll see it uses 6 C cells for a 6-volt supply. This gray cable here was the one I added. You can see the jack there. That's the jack that I put in for an external mic. So that was a modification. You can see a rather small circuit board. I had to replace all but one of the electrolytic capacitors in this recorder. If you look on the side, just behind this polystyrene cap is the bias oscillator coil. It is an AC bias recorder. The mechanism's operation is so simple. Rewind, the motor is moved over, and play, the flywheel turns, and then there's a little belt there for the take-up reel that's just driven off the pinch roller's motion. And then look how gracefully the flywheel spins after you put it in neutral position. Indeed, a very simple yet effective tape recorder. I also want to show the brake. There's this rocking thing here for a brake on the take-up reel. When you go to either play or rewind, it's released. Very simple. I'm amazed by how long that flywheel keeps spinning after it goes to neutral position. Well, viewers, I hope you enjoyed the video of the standard SR-F21T Tiny Pal reel-to-reel tape recorder. A delightful, adorable little recorder. I really like standard recorders. There's something about them that's just fun.
This has been a Cassette Master production.